Simone Biles has been called manly, masculine, and unfeminine for years. So why is she now using that same insult on another woman? Let's talk about what happens when unhealed wounds turn us into the very same people we tried so hard not to become. Before I dive in, I would just like to say that this video is not about the situations or the conversations that led up to this tweet. This is not about the trans community. I don't know enough to speak on this conversation about trans athletes or anything like that. So it's not about that specific conversation. I'm just using this tweet as an example to point out something that I think every single person alive needs to work on and why it is so important to work on these things. This is not also an insult to Simone or Riley. I don't know much about Riley, but I do know a little bit about Simone. I respect what she has done and everything that she has been able to achieve. Just using her situation as an example to point out something that happens in all of us. It's not really about her. If you're watching this video, thank you so much for clicking on my video first of all to watch. I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by my birthday, which is July 27. So if you like what you see here, if you like these kind of topics, I would urge you, implore you even to consider subscribing. And if you like this particular video and you have already subscribed, please like this video. Describing a woman as manly has been one of like the most used insults of all time to insult women who don't necessarily fit into the beauty standards. Women who have muscles, who are muscular. Apparently, muscles are only associated with masculinity, and people don't like to see muscles on a woman. Don't like to see, let me not say toned, because toned is acceptable to an extent, but whenever you see a woman who is too lean, she's always described as masculine. Black women, dark-skinned black women especially, have always been described as manly for some reason. We've seen so many women described as manly. We can look at Michelle Obama, Serena Williams, and even Simone Biles herself has fallen prey to this very insult. I don't think it's strange for me to know when seeing her use this very same insult on another woman to see it as somewhat of a projection of her very own insecurities and a perfect example of why inner healing and inner work is very necessary. Let's look at the tweet for a second. She says, bully someone your own size, which would ironically be a male. And for some people, that might not seem like an insult. Like, it might seem like something that is, it's not that deep for you to be talking about it. But I think it is. One of the reasons why I want to speak on it is because, like I said, it's something that I have identified in myself. When I was a child, I was not very nice. I was not nice to my peers, and I'm not proud of it today. But the more I reflect inward, I realize that when I did those things, it was from a place of insecurity. People used to talk about me all the time, and then I've seen it where people talk about the fact that when you take the highlight off of yourself and put it on somebody else, it gives you comfort that at least it's not you. And that doesn't excuse the behavior. Those things that I did stemmed from my own insecurities and how other people made me feel. And instead of me doing the work, at least I was a child, but instead of me trying to reflect on myself and not putting that onto somebody else, that's exactly what I did. So it feels like a mirror in this case. When I see this happening, it feels like I'm looking at myself again. I want us to really talk about healing and what healing truly looks like, because when we think about Simone Biles, she is a successful Black woman. She has so many accolades. She has achieved so much in her sports. She is someone that you wouldn't think would let things phase them. Like words that people say, you'd think that they would kind of roll off her back. But it's in moments like these where you realize where people's real insecurities lie. You see, if you don't love yourself, if you don't put the work in to love yourself, it doesn't matter how many people like you. It doesn't matter how many people celebrate you. It doesn't matter how many people award and applaud you, because those wounds that you have, sometimes in moments where you least expect it, those wounds will come up, and they can show up in ways that hurt other people, as in an instance like this. I think we can see the clear hypocrisy of Simone speaking about another woman in this way. I think it's very telling because she could have said anything else. She could have talked about anything else. I think she is also thinking about the fact that she might be a little shorter, and being small is associated with femininity. So in her mind, she has an upper hand on Riley. Let me look at Riley's height. Let me see if I can Google that. So Riley is 5'5", which is relatively still, I think average size are small. Let's look at Simone's height, and Simone is 4'8". So I think because she is smaller, in her mind she has an upper hand on her, and she is in that sense more feminine. And the moment that you see, as somebody who is insecure, if you see somebody who you think you can one up, I think in her mind, because she is smaller than Riley, she can get away with not being the manlier one of the two. And so she decided to use that as an insult towards her. That's just my take on it and why she did it. And I want to say this: the things you have accomplished, they can't shield you from your insecurities. Simone is so celebrated and decorated and awarded. Nothing beats doing the inner work. Nothing beats being reflective, figuring out what triggers you, fixing it. And when I say fix it, I don't mean change your body. I mean, fixing your mindset. We have to make an active and conscious decision to fix our mindsets. I wouldn't think that she would still harbor these insecurities with everything that she has done. I think she is even a spokesperson for body positivity or something like that. I think I saw something of the sort, which is understandable because she has received so much flack for being who she is and seems to be so confident in that. And it was all a facade. Because if you really had healed, you would not speak about somebody else like this. I don't think so. When we don't do the work, this is when our insecurities play out. When we have conflicts with other people, when we disagree with other people, the things we choose to say to other people, that's when we see our real insecurities seeping through the cracks. And I just think that this tweet is just a public demonstration of this dynamic. What I really want to do is that I don't want people to think that I am saying these things because I am better than anybody else. Most of the time when I do videos, it comes from a place of reflection, or it's something that happened to me in the past that I relate to, and I realize that this can be changed. It's not because I'm better than you. Sometimes it's also easier to see mistakes when you're on the outside looking in. So yeah, I want to just make that clear. We have to think about why we do and say the things that we do. Where is it coming from? What is this meant to achieve? When these words leave my lips, what is the result that I'm looking for? And I know it's very much easier said than done. I know, but it's necessary. And the more we work on ourselves, I think the less we'll see things like this coming out. We need to work on ourselves. It's not enough just to lean on our accomplishments, because they cannot hide our real and true insecurities. They will seep through the cracks in situations where you least expect. I want us to reflect on what we do and say so that we don't end up becoming the very people that we despise. Take the proper steps and do the real work that it takes to heal from our insecurities.